Hi, this is Trinesha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about weak. So, I know you're probably wondering what is making you want to do a video about weak. So, I know I did a video not too long ago and I was talking about how I wanted to be meek and not weak, but I also think it's important to acknowledge the fact that we are weak sometimes. Sometimes we have to be the weaker vessel because, that's what's intended. And it does not mean that we are a weak individual. It means that we are the weaker vessel because we are made differently and blah, 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 blah. It is not meant that that the things that we have, the traits that we carry, the strengths that we have means, or the things that we are good at makes us weak. That just means that that is the way that it is described because we are the weaker vessel because the man is intended to lead. And I know it sounds super traditional and people are going to probably judge me for that and they're going to say, "Well, I'm the strong one that he who needs to let me lead." Listen, that's good for you. I don't want to be the leader of anything. The only thing, and let me not say that. I want to lead whatever it is that God puts on my heart for me to lead, but I do not want to be the leader of a household. My man, my future man is the leader. I don't care how many boss moves I make or how many zeros are in my bank account. I'm going to need this man to lead, you know, in the most godly way. I'm not trying to be led, over off of a, what. I'm not trying to be going around in circles because he has no direction for his life or vision in his life. I'm talking about really being led by God. And if he is following God, then I know I could follow him. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just saying it like that. And yes, there is this dryer here because in the other video I was saying I'm going to start doing my own nails. So I did. I did my nails today. I did like some lips on both fingers just to do like something different. But yeah, I just got finished drying them. That's why the dryer's still here. So I was trying to get, the dryer thing done. But but it turned out okay. I like them okay. I know people are gonna say, "Oh, they look good." I say they look they look good. I wouldn't say they look like professional, but they look good. Like when it comes to the designing thing, I'm good with that. When it comes to painting my nails, I'm good with that. When it comes to buffing and everything, it took forever because I'm not a professional. And I also didn't like soak all of the acrylic off because like I was saying in my other video, my nails will be so brittle that they'll break. So I just kind of buffed and then I filed down the acrylic enough to where I could still have a layer because I needed my nails to be hard enough so when I'm typing, when I'm doing stuff, they're not just constantly breaking on me. And I don't know why I did my nails today because I'm gonna wash my hair in 2 days. So, so now like this nail polish might not even stay because whenever I wash my hair and I do like my nails with gel polish, it never stays. Even when I buff everything else. But hopefully I've buffed enough to where it won't matter and the nail polish will stay, or I'm gonna wear gloves when I wash my hair so I don't have to worry about the nail polish peeling. I'm gonna have to do one of those things. But yeah, they look okay. I wouldn't say that they look bad. I wouldn't say that they look like the best, but I would say they look presentable. They look nice and neat and clean, and it has like a cute little style. And you can't see it, but on these ones, I did a heart just because my business is first love yourself and then it's February, so and all that. But yeah, this is the whole thing that I'm doing. But as I was in Bible study today, we were just learning about different things. We were learning about what happens when you pass on and things like that. And I know it's kind of bleak to talk about that, but we all have a time that is going to be our last time. Like the day that we born is a day, there's always a date set for when we pass on. And I think it's important for us to be intentional with our lives, to know like seriously, and I know it's weird for me to talk about this because usually I don't talk about this stuff in the video, but you need to get your will done. I don't know why I'm saying this, but apparently this needs to be said. You need to get a will done and you need to have some life insurance, especially if you have children. Do not pretend like you're this old, so you don't need to have it, or you've made it this far, you don't need to have it, because the income that you bring in, it may not be sustainable for people coming behind you, or if your children are underage or whatever else and they're not making that type of money or whatever else. It's good to have that income still coming in. And I definitely don't want my child or any other person in my family to be trying to find the means to bury me. I want to make sure that they're good. And so, like, for real, get intentional with your life. I know, like, it's difficult to think about things like that because it's kind of like, it's like eerie and everything, but really it's life. And you really have to think about what you want for your family. For me, I want to leave a legacy. I want to break generational curses. I want to be the person who breaks generational trauma and generational strongholds. Anything that's been wreaking havoc or taking hold of my family, like through traditions or whatever else, I want to be the person who breaks those things, especially if I realize that it's going on. I want to be the person who sets the tone for things to be different. And I know, like, when I was growing up, I used to hate being different. I used to be like, why can't I just fit in with everybody else? Why can't I just do all of the things that everybody else is doing? Why is it that when I do this thing, the one time that I do it, it's like the worst thing ever. But then, like, these people, they'll do that constantly, and they just live that type of life. And it's like, but I do it the one time, and it's like, oh no, like, it's just like you could tell when God has something else for you, because even when you try to fit in or you try to be like somebody else, God is like, not my child. Like, not today. And so I think it's really important for us to know who we are, because sometimes we get swept up in the world and we get swept up in, what other people are doing or how other people are feeling and things like that. When we kind of forget about ourselves, we forget that we have real emotions. And sometimes, if you're like me, you try to, like, put on a brave face and just be strong all the time. And even when, like, people are trying to be the strength for me, it's really difficult for me to step down. And I don't know how I'm going to be when I get with somebody, but hopefully I'm in a better place where I feel like I can give that person the reins, so I don't feel like I have to be strong all the time. I can actually be vulnerable sometimes. But, in this world, most people are not as forgiving or as considerate of other people. And so sometimes I have to be, on it. I can't just allow myself to have a moment like that, because I'm going to be missing too much time. And we don't know how much time we have. I can't waste that kind of energy and emotion on something that will take up too much space in my life, you know. And so I try to make sure that I'm intentional, and when I am weak, I try to call on God. And sometimes it'll just be me. I'll be like the thing that's hindering myself, because I'll be like, God, if you don't want this to happen, just don't let me don't let that person be at this place when I go there. And then, like, I'm so childish right now. Like, I'm mature and childish at the same time. And I don't know if this is specifically childish. This could just be a good healthy boundary that I'm setting for myself. But I also feel like I need to kind of face the facts and just, like, be realistic with my life in some areas. So, like, if I know, like, a certain person will be there who I have a really hard time wanting to stay away from, I'll be like, maybe someone else can go there instead of me going there. Maybe I'll go this way instead of that way. And I know a lot of people watching this are like, I can't believe you're doing that. I would just go anyways. You don't know how I'm feeling in my emotions, okay? So if I could handle it, I would go and do all of the things that you're saying that you would do. And you definitely don't know my life. You don't know my past. You don't know what emotionally I'm going through, what spiritual warfare I'm battling with. And so, even though it sounds simple to say a one sentence solution for an entire life, that is not how it works in reality. And so for me, it's difficult because I still feel a certain type of way. And it's not that, I'm just, like, really having a difficult time with this one situation. And I don't know why it's so hard to let go. I've been trying to let go. I've been trying to just, keep on, and I've been doing the things that I need to do in life. Like I'm still doing my job, I'm still doing my business, I'm still doing all of the things. It's just that it keeps crossing my mind, and I'm just like praying, like, God, please let me forget about this person. Just let me, move on with my life and not care anymore, or not think about them at all ever again. And it's like I'll get to a point where I'm like, okay, like today I had like a moment, but it wasn't that bad. And for the most part, I do good. And I think in January I felt really great, and I was like, okay, I feel like back to my normal self. I can stay focused. And then randomly I see this person, and it's just like so difficult, because it's hard when it's easy when it's a bad person who is not good for you, who you don't like anyways. It's hard when you like someone who's a decent human being, you mess up, and there's no chance that you'll ever be with that person now. It's like, and then I feel like the adversary is just like playing with my emotions, like, oh, see? And then God's like, I got you. Like, stop. Don't even worry about, the adversary over here. We got other plans. Because if you thought this was the best that I got way better for you. Especially like if something doesn't work out in your life, a job, whatever your situation is, a person, whatever, if it's not happening, it's because it's not the right time, or that person is not the person for you. And it's so weird because I keep praying so hard, like, God, just let me not think about this person at all. Like, just remove this person from my mind. Just allow me to just like continue doing whatever else it is that I need to do, so I don't have to ever worry about this ever again. And it is so hard to let go. I know it sounds weird, especially since I'm the type of person that used to just push people away, but I don't know what it is. It's crazy. I was like, it's so weird. I don't know. I feel like this is a test in spiritual warfare. I don't know what is happening, but it's literally like I met this person, and I had all of this like spiritual, psychological, emotional warfare going on, like from the moment that we met. I wouldn't say the moment that we met, the moment that we had a real conversation. And ever since then, it has been like the thing that the adversary has been saying, see, you're not good enough. See, you're not good enough. Like, even when there was probably a possibility that we could have like talked to each other or been friends or something else, it was just like in my head, all I could think about was all of the things I did wrong in the past. All I could think about is how I don't want to get hurt again. All I could think about is I just need to push this person away. And now I really don't have a choice because it's too late, you know? But that's what happens in life. You don't always get what you want. And I was so tempted to sing that song from the commercial, but I'm not going to do that because we all know I can't sing. And so, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need. But even that preaches. I'm not gonna go into like preaching mode or anything like that. But seriously, like sometimes in life you don't get what you want, but when you're trying and you stay focused on God, God can give you everything that you need. You don't have to worry about trying to go after things that aren't for you or don't want you. And the thing that God keeps telling me is that anything that's him, that's intended, that is supposed to happen is going to happen. Anything that's for me is for me, and I don't have to worry about anything else. And it's hard when you don't have like a hard yes. But then I also know how I am, and maybe God, because he knows me, because he knew me before I was formed, is like, I can't tell you everything, because if I told you this, you either won't know how to act, or you're going to do the complete opposite. And he's so right. So I'm glad he's not telling me anything. And it's so weird because God in the past gave me this choice. And it's gonna sound so crazy. I hope the person doesn't watch this video because they're gonna be like, I'm glad I dodged that that girl. But anyways, but it won't matter because it's too late anyway. So this is what's happening. And this is only from my opinion. So don't ever take any of the stories or anything that I say as like the entire story. I'm telling my truth, but I'm not telling the other person's truth, and I'm not telling the entire picture, which is, the reality of the entire situation. And if you don't know why I said that, if you go back to my video, I think it's called like The Truth or something like that. Me and one of my family members, we like to go back and forth about theories, like theorizing and just thinking of different like sayings or different things that happen within the world. And so we will like go and we'll have like this kind of like debate, but sometimes it's like a real thorough conversation about different things, like different theories or whatever else. And so, that saying about there's three sides of the story, your side, their side, and the truth. And so we kind of went and kind of psychoanalyzed the whole situation. And as we were theorizing, we were talking about how, well, he insinuated that that other person's opinion is the truth. And I'm like, how can you say that when, that's based on their perception and how they were born and the things that happened throughout their life that caused them to believe that that's the truth. That doesn't mean that technically that's true. But we went into this whole discussion. And anyways, so the main thing that we came down to is that that's their truth. The other person, that's their truth. And there's also a unbiased opinion who could see things from all perspectives. And even though neither person will believe that that is the truth, that is their truth. And also, what we perceive as normal isn't technically normal because who is the person who decides what normal actually is? Because somebody could say normal is what society does in the world, but that's not biblical. That's not what God would intend for me to do. So normal to me might be what's biblically sound. Normal to someone who's worldly might be, I'm just gonna be out in these streets, doing whatever I feel like whatever I feel like. So it just, I know I went, and people are probably like judging me for that, but it's fine. And so, so when you really think about what the truth is, or what your truth is, or what normal is for you, it's all based on you. It's all based on your life. And anyways, and so so I really had this discussion with God, and God gave me this choice. And in this choice, one choice was you could be with this person. I'm just trying to make sure it's okay. I never want to say anything unintentionally or say something and then it's not helping somebody else. So I want to make sure that I'm being intentional with the things that I say. That's why you see me take moments to pause because I'm consulting with God. I know I probably shouldn't say that in the video, but I really like am like, is it okay to say this? Like if I feel something like holding me back, I'll be like, can I say this? And then God will be like, okay. Or he'll be like, no. And I'll be like, all right, change the story. But, he just gave me a choice of what to choose for my life. And one was happiness and one was joy. And he said, would you want to be happy? If you get to be with this person, you will be happy. If you get to be with this person, you will have joy. And he said, which one would you want, happiness or joy? And obviously, right away, I said joy. But I also knew the people who were connected to each thing, or what was connected to each thing. And I did have a moment where I kind of like was like, well, maybe it'll be fine just being happy. And as I was thinking that, God was like, why would you choose to settle when I have so much more for you? That's a good question. Why do we choose to settle and act like God can't do better? Why do we choose to think that this is because this job pays well, this is the best that God has? I remember the story of this one preacher, and she was at this job. And I'm not getting on jobs. I think 9 to 5s, entrepreneurships, whatever it is, wherever it is that God is guiding you. I wish that this chair would stop doing that. But wherever it is that God is guiding you is where you should be. And this pastor, she was working this 9 to 5, and she was just like at her job, and she got considered for another position, and it was a lot more money. And she was going to take it. And God said, don't take the job. And she's like, God, this is a lot of money. You want me to not take this job? And God's like, no, I need you to do this. So, needless to say, she went on to start her own business, and she did some other things. And the money that she makes now, compared to the money that she would have made and in that promotion, when she thought that promotion was a lot of money, is nothing compared to the multi-millions that she makes today, because she decided to follow God. If she had settled for the job that would have been a promotion, which would have been more money than she had been able to make in her life, she would have never made multi-millions. She would have never become a multimillionaire if she hadn't followed God, if she hadn't seen that God had more for her, if she hadn't trusted in God, and if she hadn't turned down the position for something that was less than what God intended for her. Sometimes it's hard for us to see what God has for us because we have to have faith to be able to have it. We have to have hope in order for us to be able to have that thing that God has for us. For me, I don't have an example of what, you know, a healthy relationship looks like, or what it will look like to be in a relationship that's like the one that God is promising me. And so for me, it's kind of hard, especially when I meet so many lovely people. And so when you meet like a decent person, it's really hard to see how any other person could be better than that. But what is better? What is your opinion of what better is for you? Because what you're thinking, I promise you, is nowhere near as great as what God has. Because we can only think so far because of our past, because of what we've seen. But when your entrepreneurship, or your 9 to 5, or you being a mother, or the relationship that you're going to have is going to be something that's going to be an example for the kingdom, it's not something that you would see everywhere. You might see one example, but that's still not even going to be the same as your situation, because what God has for you is designed specifically for you. It's not designed for everybody. It's not a this is everybody's story kind of thing. It's a this is the story. So when we are going through life, we really have to be, even when it's hard, and I'm praying so hard to just be able to release this thing. Like, I'm really struggling with it. And the first thing I wanted to do, and this is just me being transparent, the first thing I wanted to do was call people. Like, call people in my family or my friends and be like, girl, I'm struggling. Like, but then I thought about it and I said, nobody that I know would be able to help me with this God situation but God. The only person that I could call on, the only person that I could ask to help me would be God, because nobody knows or what I'm going through in my life. Oh yeah, I got to do that. I forgot. Okay. Well, I probably have to get off here soon. So there's no one that has an example for the thing that I'm going to be doing, or the things that I will have that God has destined for me. So it's hard to, I don't have a person that I can call that has an example for what my life is going to look like. God is the only one who knows that. So even though it'd be good to call someone to get their opinion, I still have to follow God. So it doesn't matter what they say. It's not really going to help me. It's not. And it's nice to have people in your family or in your friend group or whatever else that you can call on, that you can talk to and things like that. But God is the first person that I went to. Even though I was like, I want to call this person and see what they say, because I'm really struggling and it's really hard. And I know it's so silly because this person I barely know. I don't know. I don't know if you want to say it's like kindred spirit. I don't know, like if that's like a spiritual thing or if that's like one of them things that society talks about. So I don't know if I should even mention that in this video, but it feels like one of those things where we are on the exact same journey. So if anybody could understand, it would be that person. That's kind of where that connection comes in. Like we started our spiritual journey at the exact same time. We have the same number of of children. We like the same things. We are equally yoked. God is like number one in both of our lives. And it's just like it's like a mirrored reflection. Like except for I'm the girly version of what this person is. And it's really hard to let go. It really is. This person hasn't done anything. Like they haven't, it's not, you would think that this person has just done like so much that it's making it so difficult for me to let go. I don't know if it's the adversary because God has other things for me in the future. So it's a pleasant distraction, or if it's something that is supposed to be a part of my story so that it won't be just like it was easy for me to make it where I'm going. It'll be something that caused me to be able to like that challenged me, you know? And so it's really difficult. Like every time I think I'm good, it's like I either hear this voice in my head saying, "Why would you think that God would give you something better? Like this is what you get for all the mistakes that you've made in the past." Like you thought that, and it's just really hard. I've been praying so hard, like, God, just let me forget about this person. God, just like let me never see this person again so I don't have to ever worry about it. God, just let me, I don't know, meet somebody else who could distract me away from this person temporarily until I get to the place where you're trying to get me with the person who you intended for me or something like that. Like, I don't know, like, it's really hard to let go. And I know the other person is probably just living their life like they don't even know. Because it's not like I've said anything. Like, I haven't said, like, oh, yeah, I definitely like this person or anything like that. They just think I'm a random person who just probably doesn't even like them. I don't know. But I know I gotta make it so complicated. But mm, it's like I got a playlist in my head because every time I say a word that triggers something in me, it makes me start to think about a song. And why did I start thinking about Avril Lavigne from back in the day? Complicated. Y'all don't know what that is. Somebody's gonna search it on YouTube, but don't get hooked because as soon as you listen to the one song, it's gonna be like 12 other songs from the past. It's gonna come up on your feed. The next thing you know, you're gonna be feeling like you're feeling, and then you're gonna be you're gonna be stuck in this loop, and then you're gonna be all the training that you've done thus far might go out the window for a day or two. So be very cautious. If you're gonna look it up and then keep it moving. Don't just look it up and then get sidetracked in this, 90 early 2000s songs or something like that. Like you really got to stay focused. And so it's so bad because I mean, I wouldn't say I don't act like I don't like this person. I'm nice to this person, but I don't say like, hey, you know, why was I about to say that? See, I brought up the early 2000s. Now I'm about to start using them catchphrases from back in the day. I was going to say, it's not like I'm going to say you're all that in a bag of chips, but I digress. Anyways, No, I don't say any of those things. I literally just go on about my business and continue living my life. And the person knows absolutely nothing. And I'm going to continue to keep it that way because I need to stay focused on the things that I have to do. And I got this purpose to fulfill and I got to stay focused on God. And I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to be, looking stupid because of another guy. Like I need to make sure that I'm on it and I'm on point. I'm on the things that I need to do. I need to be about that life. I need to be intentional. I can't get sidetracked. I can't lose focus. I have to be good. I can't allow anything to stand in the way of what God has for me. And it would just be so much easier if I just never met that person. Then I could just focus and do all of the things that I need to do without a hiccup, without like anything. That like Is it nice to feel that way? Even though I thought that I would never feel that way again? Yes, it is. But I also know that I need to stay focused. I got things that I got to do in my life. I can't be sidetracked. I can't be distracted. I need to be doing the things that I need to do. And every time I feel good or I feel like I'm all right or I'm not thinking about this person or this person isn't crossing my mind or, I'm not praying for this person or whatever else. I know. They even got in my prayer life. It's like, come on, man. Really? It's a real struggle, for real. And I know it's probably surprising to some people because I seem so strong on these videos and usually I'm so focused and everything. I don't know what it is about this guy, but it's really, I feel silly. I feel really, can't even believe myself right now. I don't know how I allowed this to happen. I'm supposed to be, you know, just not doing this right now. I'm supposed to be focused and strong and doing only the things that I need to do. I don't have any time to focus on this person. I don't know. I feel like I'm wasting precious time of my life. Like I could be thinking about like business ideas. I could be thinking about like ways to expand my business. I could be thinking about like ways that I can grow in my relationship with God, and I can be thinking about ways to become a better parent and different places that I want to travel in my life and all the things that I want to do by myself. And I'm doing some of those things, but it's like when and I don't want to say when I'm idle because I'm always doing something. Like I keep myself so busy and even when I'm doing things, there's that person's name everywhere. And I'm doing Bible study. I'm listening to sermons. I am, listening to this person talk. And of course, the person that they're talking about has that name. And I go to look up something online and I'm in my course and the instructor's name is that. And I go different places or I go like I'm around my friends or someone else and they mention the name or, my family says something about this person who's just an incredible person. And I'm just like, God, I don't see how I'm going to be able to focus unless like you literally put your touch on this because I'm going to really need for you to just erase it from my mind, like erase the feelings, erase the thoughts, everything that you got to do, just take it away from me. Like I don't understand why this had to happen. I don't understand why. Like I feel distracted, but I mean I'm doing all the things that I need to do. So I guess technically it doesn't look like I'm distracted, but I don't want to be thinking about this. I want to be thinking about myself. I want to be thinking about my friends, my family, myself, God first, and all of those things second. I don't want to be thinking about this person. And I feel silly. I really feel silly right now. I feel like most women that I look at and I'm just like, I can't believe that they're acting like this or that they're doing this. And then look at me looking like I'm looking. It's like, really? I can't even believe this. Never judge anybody else because you will eat your words every single time. I promise you. Like, you think that you're about to be about that life and just be able to just cut people off, and all of a sudden there's tall, dark, and handsome out of nowhere who has all of the credentials and all the criteria that you could ever want in a person that you can't have. It's like, are you serious right now? Like, am I being punked? It's like, I can't believe that this is happening. Like, why? It's just, it makes no sense besides me being distracted or something else because, you know, I don't know. It just, I don't know. Like, God knows, that's all I know. I just, I feel real weak. Like, I really do. I want to be stronger, but I also know that God is my strength when I'm weak. That's the thing that keeps me sane. That's the thing that allows me to feel like I can continue to push forward and do the things that I need to do. If God wasn't in my life, I don't see how. I don't see, why does that always happen? I don't see. I don't see how I could focus if God was not in control or the head of my life. If God wasn't who he is, if he didn't do what he said he was going to do, if God couldn't be my strength when I was weak, there's no way I would be sitting here right now. I would probably be on the floor in one of the rooms of the house just crying every single day because I don't know how I can make it through these days without God. I promise you that. Like, when I tell you the struggle is real, the struggle is real. And I don't know what it is about this person that I can't forget about this person. I've prayed over and over and over again to forget this person. Like, you don't understand. I'm trying so hard not to like this person or think about this person or whatever else. And I'm just so irritated right now. Like, you don't understand. I'm so mad at myself for letting myself get to this point in my life because didn't I already go through this before? Like, with and I haven't I already been in a situation where I was interested in someone and they weren't interested in me, like that long 15-year relationship, because if they were interested, we probably would still be together. So how after all of this could I be in the same exact situation again? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Maybe maybe it's me. Maybe I got something. Maybe I don't know what's happening. But I oof, I'm so frustrated right now. I'm so upset with myself. Like, I can't believe I made it back to this point. And hopefully God is not just like, okay, well, this video went all over the place. Don't post this. But you watch it later so that when I get you through this, you can see how you had to struggle or how you had to make it through this thing to get to where I was taking you. Maybe you being this real is showing people, hey, being Christian isn't perfect. You're going to have days like this. You're going to have moments in your life where you're not going to always make the best decision. You're going to have moments in your life where you're going to think, I'm healed and I've done all these things, and you might still like what you like. You might make it to a point in your life where you feel like, okay, it's going to be easy to let people go, and maybe not. It's not always easy to let go. Maybe you're going to be at a point in your life where you feel like you just got it all figured out and you're perfect, and you just feel like everything's like rainbows and butterflies, and then you realize that life is life and that things will happen and that not every person is going to like you, and you realize that what God has for you is for you and you cannot force anything that's not God. And maybe you realize one day that, hey, the person did like you, and because you were getting in your own way, you are the only thing that's stopping any of the blessings that God has for you. Maybe you're the person who you think you're healed and you're not. Maybe you're the person who needs more Jesus. Maybe you have Jesus. Like, on Sunday in Bible study, you pray to him, everything else. But maybe you need to build a relationship. Instead of just talking to him about the things that you want, maybe you need to spend some time just sitting with him. Earlier today, so I had a moment earlier today, like I was telling you at the beginning of this video, and I was thinking about the person. And I was like, God, just remove, the thought of them from my mind so I don't have to ever think about them again, ever again. And God just said, spend some time with me. I was working out and usually like I'm listening to music or something else. And God was like, no. He was like, no distractions. Just focus on me. And I did. And I felt like this calmness around me. I really felt like peaceful. And I felt like I didn't think about the person at that time. I really was just focused on God. And I went to go take a shower after my workout. And I was like, I was really just like, okay, God, I don't hear you saying, I could feel that God was there, but I didn't hear him saying anything. Like I didn't feel him say, hey, just do this, this, and this. Hey, go this place at this time and you'll meet this person who, will be a business partner or something else. Like I didn't hear anything. I just felt him being there with me. And it felt like even when I had like a moment of weakness, even when I was thinking about this person, God was there like helping me feel like I could be stronger than I was in that moment. Like he didn't have to say or do anything. He just was there. His presence was enough. You know, it was enough to be strong enough in my moment of weakness. And sometimes, like, even when you don't know what the answer is for something, or even when you don't know how things are going to turn out, just seek God. Seek, seek his presence, seek his face, stay in your word, pray. Just take a moment and really just build that relationship with God. Even you just being in his presence is enough to heal you. It's enough to make you strong in your moment of weakness. It's enough to guide you to where it is that you need to go. Even if you don't have like a here, take 2 steps to the left and go to the right. Like even if you don't have exact instruction or directions for where it is that God is taking you, if you stay faithful, if you stay in your word, if you stay focused on him, everything else that you need in life will be given unto you. And it doesn't have to be the things that you want, but it will be the things that you need. And, during this struggle, I really have been learning a lot about myself. The person doesn't even know, but they taught me a lot about myself. I learned that I was controlling. I really did learn that. I learned that, patience is a good thing to have. I learned how to be kind to people who don't even deserve it. I mean, I did good with the ex and stuff like that, but I meet other people and it's like, listen, I done reached my limit on patience. But I've been doing a lot better with that. I learned, like how to really not just think about yourself or be like selfish, but really think about what someone else is going through. I really, really have been thinking about like, hey, sometimes you might want something, but you really have to consider what someone else wants when you're doing things or when you're going through things. I learned that, hey, it's not always about you. Sometimes it's about someone else. Sometimes, even though you might be healed, somebody else might not be healed. Even when you're going through some things and you might be trying to help, like, not everything that you say is going to be perceived the way that you intended to be perceived. Like, I might have said something that was controlling, and maybe I had the best of intentions, and it did come off controlling. But I really just wanted to learn more about the person. I really wanted to, because this was such a great person, I wanted to know, what type of person they were and like just learn more about them. I really didn't want them to do things at a certain time, when I say it, where I say it, when, and all this other stuff. I really just wanted to know them. And I could have probably said it a better way. And so I learned that I needed to work on communication. I learned that, you know, even when things don't go your way, like it's okay to just seek God. It's okay to feel however it is that you're feeling in the moment. And it doesn't make you a bad person just to feel that way. I learned that not everybody's going to like you. I mean, I knew that before, but I didn't know that someone would try to get to know you. I mean, pretend like they like you and then not like you at the same time. Or you do one thing wrong and all of a sudden you're like the plague that they're trying to run away from. Like, I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm just saying in general. I'm just using examples right now. But I really learned a lot. I learned like what kindness and patience really does look like from this person, because I thought I was learning how to be patient, but oh my gosh, like this person really taught me patience and being understanding about other people, and really knowing that, hey, other people are going through things as well. And it's not just, sometimes it's not about you at all. Sometimes it's about something that they're going through personally. Sometimes even when you want something, you have to consider what somebody else wants. You can't just do things because it's what you want, you know? I learned that I learned a lot during the season. I feel like God used this person to teach me a lot of lessons because I really felt like, okay, I'm healed. I'm good. I'm going to continue bettering myself. But I wasn't taking accountability for some of the things that I did. Like I was in denial with some of the things that I did in my life. And the person really taught me, like, hey, hey, you got some things that you gotta like really just be real with yourself about. You gotta tell the truth and shame the devil, like my pastor says. And if you're lying to yourself, if you're not willing to be honest with yourself, you're never going to be able to grow, and God's never going to be able to use you for the purpose that He placed on your life. Because the thing that you see as a weakness might be used as your strength in the future. That might be the thing, like, if God is saying, hey, you're controlling, maybe instead of me being controlling, I can be persistent. Maybe instead of controlling, I can learn a better way to verbalize or communicate what it is that I need. Maybe instead of me being impatient or thinking that I have to rush into things, I will be more patient next time. Because when God is saying wait 3 to 4 months or however long it is that He intends for me to wait, I'll wait the next time because I know that without God, it's going to be nothing. Like it's going to be disastrous. There's nothing that could be great without God in it. I also learned that, hey, definitely don't tell somebody that you don't like them if you like them. Like, just be honest. You are not being like strong or whatever. You are being silly when you say things like that for no reason. So make sure that if you need more time, just say, hey, I'm not ready. And if the person's for you, they'll wait for you. And if you like somebody, you don't have to say, hey, I like you if the person's not saying they like you. Like, I don't believe in that. But definitely don't say, I don't like you either. So, in conclusion, because oh my gosh, it's late. Yep, it's late. So, I gotta go take a shower and get ready because I gotta go in the office tomorrow. So, I gotta definitely get offline right now because, and I got that thing that I gotta turn in. So, I do have to go. But in conclusion, even when you have a moment of weakness, always seek God first. You don't have to call your friends and your family. And, I'm not saying trying to get on friends and family and my friends and family give good advice, but in general, they might give you bad advice and it might not be biblical advice. Somebody might say, oh, go ahead and call that person because you're thinking about them. I'm just going to pray for them and seek God because I don't know what God's doing in their life and I don't want to distract them. Like if I feel distracted, I don't know what it is that they're going through. And I mean, they could need someone, but they would need God first before they need me. So I need to make sure that I pray for them. And I hope that, they seek God with everything that they're going through, even though it's rough, even though they have a lot of stuff on their plate, that everything works out for them, and that even if it's not me, that they end up with the person that they're supposed to be with, and that they always remember how incredible they are, like how resilient and a hard worker and understanding and patient and kind and everything else, and like everything that they are, that they don't allow like the past or what someone else told them that they were to negate what God created them to be. And so that's my thing. And just remember to focus on God because even when you don't see how, even when you feel like, well, you need direction or you need God to give you a map on how things are going to work out in order for you to do it, that's not faith. Faith is the hope of things that are unseen. So you have to make sure that you stay focused on God because even when you don't have an example, He will be the example for you.